Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, who I've done a slightly updated projection for. I haven't had a chance to do a full simulation, but this is sort of an estimate of where the percentages would go if we add Baker Mayfield to the team from the simulation that we had in the book. So these numbers are a little bit different from the numbers that were in Football Outsiders Almanac, which had them at 7.1 mean wins. Now we have them at 7.5 mean wins. And again, we've talked about this on all these shows. Remember that our simulation is naturally very conservative and really grouped around 500. And this year, it's even more conservative than usual and even closer grouped around 500. So just because they're 7.5 mean wins does not mean they're one of the better teams in the league. In fact, in the DVOA projection, adding Baker Mayfield takes them from 31st to 30th.
This is assuming Baker Mayfield starts, because they are still splitting reps even today in joint practice with the Patriots. They're still splitting reps at first-string quarterback between Mayfield.
What a waste of freaking time! What a waste of freaking time! Like, do you not know what Sam Darnold is after this many years in the league? Like, how much more Sam Darnold do you need to see to know what he is? Like, he's not going to be a good starting quarterback, at least with Baker Mayfield. There's the chance that he's good. There are some traits there. He's had good years in the past. Why are they still futzing around with Darnold?
There was about a page and a half we cut out of the Almanac after Independence Day when they made the last-second trade, basically destroying the Panthers, even considering starting Sam Darnold once again. There are a lot of ways you can slice the DVOA database where Darnold comes up as the second worst quarterback in DVOA history. Yes, the second worst DVOA for anyone with at least 1,500 pass attempts. I've had only Blaine Gabbert. He has the second worst DVOA of anyone who qualified for our leaderboards in the first 4 seasons, behind only Rick Meyer. There are so many ways you can just say, this is the second worst quarterback of the past 40 years. And he's getting starting reps over Baker Mayfield and taking time away from Matt Corral, who needs all the work he can get, because he looked like he didn't understand what an offense was in the first preseason game, because he's not getting any time with the starters to actually practice.
Also, PJ Walker is running around and played like a half of the preseason game. And while PJ Walker is I think a good NFL backup, we've seen him go in there and do the spot start thing a bunch of times. So we know that's kind of where he slots. And like you said, everybody else either needs reps. If you're serious about this competition, then Darnold probably needs more series in the preseason. If you're not and you shouldn't be, then Corral should be playing the entire second half instead of running out there in the last 5 minutes in a playground ball and getting run over by a steamroller.
But PJ Walker doesn't make this team. PJ Walker's, unless they do something really surprising and cut Darnold, which is honestly what I would do if I was running them, but I don't think they're going to do it. PJ Walker doesn't make the team. They're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks.
And Mayfield needs more reps too, because they signed him 67 days before the regular season started. They were talking about this trade back during the draft and everything, and they ended up holding off and bickering over money. Great, you saved some salary cap room, but you lost the entire offseason program. There is just no explaining what the Panthers have done at quarterback over the last 2 years, other than they don't know what they're doing. And it's not like Mayfield is this wonderful prize. Right when after the trade, all of Ben McAdoo's old comments from 2018 started boiling back up. How he didn't see him as an NFL quarterback, didn't like him in the pocket. And while that's all overstated now, he doesn't still think Baker Mayfield's not a quarterback. But the fact that it's like, oh, this quarterback doesn't do anything that I want to do, and now he's on your team, that's an issue. They were like the last 2 people in the bar at closing time. I can't go back home to Sam Darnold yet again. Baker's the only one left. I guess we're going to make this work somehow.
This is not going to be the Cleveland scheme, and it's not going to be the Cleveland offensive line. No. But the receivers aren't bad.
No. We'll quickly left the line. Bradley Bozeman got hurt today. He had to be carted off the field with a lower leg injury of some description. It's early.
I did not know that.
He did
Breaking news.
Yeah, he was able to be helped to the cart, but he was carted off, and we don't know at this point how extensive that is. So even the improved offensive line may not be as improved as we thought it was. We will see.
And Useful Title says Matt Rule likes competition. Only reason you can think. Yeah, that's kind of it. Another bit of news was that they finally announced Ike Ekwonu is the starting left tackle. He was in this rotation for days and days and days. And it's pretty obvious, like this guy, while he's raw, is going to be your starting left tackle. There is no other scenario, but yet you rotate for the sake of rotating. It is a collegiate thing. Urban Meyer famously made Trevor Lawrence rotate with Minshew for a while, etc. it's this very outdated logic that these college guys get away with because the new guy coming in is 17, and you probably do need to nurture them a little bit differently. But that's what you're looking at.
I mean, I feel like there is a story where this team makes the playoffs. Like Mayfield finds the spark of whatever he had 2 years ago and has a season where he's average, and the defense plays like they did in the early part of last season. And the Saints don't do what we think they're going to do, and the Panthers basically do it instead. It's a possibility, certainly, but if it is, it's like a 9-8 possibility. Like it's not a like we're challenging Tampa Bay possibility, and it honestly would be bad because it would mean more running in place in the future. I think.
Baker's contract is up after this year too, so even if he does, end up, doing having that season and becoming that guy, you don't have him for next season. So it's not a long-term plan in any way, shape, or form.
Like there is talent on this defense to be better than their projection of 27. Brian Burns, J.C. Horn for a full year, and Derek Brown.
Jack Thompson woke up last season and finally
Jeremy Chin.
Right, Thompson woke up last year, and became his own person.
It's depressing to look at them because they don't know where they are, too. Matt Rule is the only coach in the league right now on a streak of 2 years without making the playoffs. Every single other coach has made the playoff in the last 2 years or is new. The quote that went viral last year is, well, Jay-Z wasn't an overnight success. Well, you're not Jay-Z. And you don't have 7 years to build this up. You were brought in from college because you had a reputation for turning things around very quickly. It's year 3. We're still saying all of these things about your team. What is going on in Carolina?
And the Baker Mayfield has been brought in because as a shotgun wedding, kind of like you suggested, because it's put up or shut up time at the ownership level. They brought in new people in the front office to put some guardrails around Rule because he was kind of operating with a GM that was kind of answering him. Everyone can see this, and Rule is kind of trying to respond by putting his head in the sand and being extra cautious with everything he does. Instead of saying, "Look, if I don't do something big and bold right now, it's over anyway." He's kind of in that denial stage that coaches get into when they're in this predicament.
He said before the season, it's not my job to pick who's going to be starting quarterback be. Yes, it is. That is explicitly your job. Please do it.
But that's another Harry High School, Coach College Charlie. Like, you guys decide for yourself, and it's this banter and this patois that they use and things like that. And then you go to the media with it, and it's like, if that's really your mindset, no, you're a leader of professionals out here. This is a $100 million industry. You are the one making the decisions. We're not going to take that as an excuse. We don't believe this boilerplate. But that's where he gets stuck, and that's where he's been stuck for 3 years since he got the job.
He'll be wonderful in the SEC next year.
He will be. I was thinking he's like a Conference USA special. Because remember, his success was at Baylor and Temple. Right. So this was like a 2 ramp up thing. And again, a lot of people talked him up as phenomenal. I heard unbelievably glowing behind the scenes reviews of him. Got to talk to him a little bit during his first year. Like, this guy sounds like he's going to be a breath of fresh air. He's overmatched.
Someone has to resuscitate Purdue, I guess.
Matt Rule right now, plus 300 to be the first coach fired in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll take it.
For me, it's between him and Ron Rivera. If things just go very south in Washington very quickly with Carson Wentz at quarterback, Rule has to be in the front of that chain, especially, like I said, with McAdoo there waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
They play Atlanta twice, week 8 and 10. If he doesn't win one of those games.
Yeah.
If he makes it that far. And the only thing I don't like about the bet is that it's only plus 300. Like, he's so obviously the front runner right now that it's way down there and not enough meat on the bone.
What does Vegas know that we don't know?
Right. So, again, some people find it, I get that it's ghoulish to bet on somebody getting fired along the way. We just mentioned it's in football coaching, it's a demotion. He's getting a demotion. He can fail spectacularly in the world, and he will be making more money than the 3 of us combined times 10 next year in Conference USA. So don't want to be ghoulish about something like this, but he'll be fine, folks. He'll be fine.
Quick pass to McCaffrey. It's caught.